everyone, and welcome back to another wonderful week of LCS Challengers. I'm excited. I missed last week, and it feels weird to say this, but I actually kind of missed you guys. I'm not gonna lie. So today should be a lot of fun.
Well, we haven't actually gotten to cast the three of us on a desk yet this year. So, I mean, the cursed desk is back.
Yeah, this definitely was a... I think there's a reason why they waited until week 4 to put on the 4 of us on a desk together. I'm not gonna lie, but how's it been, guys? What's up, Cubby? How are you feeling about this cursed desk narrative we got going on for us?
It's great. You know, they just had to wait to put us all together on the week. You know, that you might have noticed it's a little bit different, a little bit of a theme going on this week. The fact that it is before Valentine's Day. So they're just trying to bring us together, you know, show some love. And you started the show off with that, Sierra, so thank you very much.
Hey, I gotta fit the theme a little bit before probably the roasts and everything else for the rest of the day. I'm not gonna...
Let's be honest, before I ruin it.
I'm not gonna... Am I allowed to say that on broadcast?
Not entertaining that, yeah. No, not this week.
Hey, well... in front of the cameras, I'm going to say that Mad Magical, you're a delight to work with. But I want to know what we missed, what I missed last week. And for anyone who missed out on what happened, we do have another one of our NA talent updates.
Hello and welcome to another NA talent update. In the spirit of Valentine's Day, we're going to be spreading a little bit of extra love this week. So we're going to start it off with Mazel as he walks us through the Challengers Safari.
Welcome to the Challengers Safari. Let's go on a journey to find the love language of the jungle. And here we have the likely duo of Sketch and Aaron, the bottom laners for CLG Faith. They find themselves in a bit of a tussle, but that synergy and love between Sketch and Aaron shows them through. And a little bit of a wombo combo. Now we see the epitome of a brotherly friendship in the wild. Svenskeren and Hanser. What love. And up here it seems we have a peaceful wolf taking his time among the trees, but what is this? He's taking the... I think he's got the dog in him. Oh, I'm so sorry. Caught off guard there. You know, I do love brotherly times, and seeing these two work so well together. Oh, Svenskeren, you found yourself out, but luckily, your friend is always here. Oh, beautiful friendships and kinship in the wild. You see the more mature Winnie coming to save Darkwings. The familial bond really coming in strong and too much for Young to handle. That's true friendship.
We had some great plays on the Rift this past week. So I felt like I had to commemorate them this week with some Valentine's Day cards that you, and maybe even the players, might be able to use. My axe is thirsty. Are you?
Faisal? Even though there was...
He can turn this.
He can turn this easily. Flash away. That damage! Faisal, you don't fight him! You leave him alone! You let him have his own island! Even if you send Victor down, he's gonna chase it down! Triple kill!
What did we say?
Meet me between the turrets. I know we have 2 mid. Please look bot.
Mia's probably just dead. One shot. Yep.
Oh my god. Spin to win with me, and we can let it rip.
Backline on a keel. They've got zone control though with the quick Victor. And look at Moose Hater. Look at the heroic entrance. Double knockup they needed to. And Moose Hater, he stands there menacingly.
Oh, that's a kill. He's dead.
Over the competition. Lands kiting it back as Wild Card win the...
Thanks for joining us for another week of the NA Talent Update. We hope that you enjoyed a little bit of extra love that we had for our players this week. We hope that you spread that love to everyone around you, as we'll see you next week. And until then, may your week be filled with positive gaming experiences.
What a wholesome end to the NA Talent Update, to a week full of wholesome gaming experiences. Is that the experience that you normally get to get. Wholesome.
I always try and end with positive gaming experiences, you know? It's glass half full. You got to go into the week with good vibes, and we can't have negative gaming experiences, right?
I will.
Yeah, no.
I will.
All right. Well, we're going to keep on the positive vibe train, and next up, get another episode of On the Range.
All right, you wind it up real tight now, and you let it loose.
Okay.
Oh, hi there. I didn't see you. Welcome to another episode of Bros on the Range. I'm trying to teach my greenhorn Rafa here how to wrangle some critters.
Hey, y'all.
Let's go ahead and see if he can do it now, all right? Let's see. Give him the hat. Give him the hat.
Yeah.
All right, now we got Rose Thorn on the big pig, Rafa. I'm going to teach you a little bit of pig call, all right? So,
Like this? So,
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 What's it? It looks like Insanity's gotten out of his pen. Rafa, quick! Go
Okay,
get your lasso!
I gotcha.
Let's go. He's gonna get it. Hold on now, Rafa. Hold on. I know you can do it. Take my hat. Take my hat. You can do it, Rafa. I believe in you. You can go. Hold. Wait, no. Oh my God. Oh. All right, Rafa. We're gonna take a little break now. Just make sure Moose Hater doesn't get Garen while I'm gone.
Yeah, it's fine. I'll make sure he don't get it. Yeah, he's not getting it. Ain't gonna get that Garen, no sir.
All right, I got some coffee. Rafa, God dang it.
Mazel, I'm sorry. I tried everything you told me to do, and I just feel like I can't do it right. Like, I don't know what I'm doing wrong.
Man, I will tell you, you just gotta give it some time, all right? You see those two down there, APA and Bradley?
Yeah?
It didn't all start off nice and peachy. They weren't two bros in a pod. It took time, all right? It took time. And one day, we're gonna be just as bros as them.
Yeah. You know, Mazel, they really do sing.
They do, my young one. Oh, look at that.
Oh, look at it go. Okay. I didn't think you could do that. Hey. Yeah. Okay. You gotta be careful about that one. Oh, this one's a fire.
Hey, see, we're gonna be just like them.
Yeah.
Just like them.
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
Thanks for being my bro on the range this week, Rafa. It's nice to have some company every once in a while.
Yeah, my pleasure. I'm sorry that kind of messed up your pen a little bit, but you know, appreciate your patience and I appreciate you roasting my wiener too.
You gotta stay proteinized, that's what I like to say on the range.
Yeah.
Oh, they're still here. Well, that's a little awkward. Well, thank you all for coming in on the range for another week. We'll see you next week. Make sure you come back now.
Well, there's another wholesome episode of On the Range. Let's...
You know, I'm all for getting into the Valentine's Day theme, but I didn't realize we were getting that into it, you know? Gotta throw that out there.
Good job, guys.
Yeah, thanks.
Outdid yourselves on that one. Maybe we'll 180 on the wholesome vibes or try to throw it to a super heavyweight SmackDown video.
Are you feeling lonely this Valentine's Day? Do you feel like you're missing out on a deep connection? Like you have so much to give, but haven't met that special person? Well, come on down to this week's Super Heavyweight SmackDown. Perry and Insanity, will they ever love again? Two ex-teammates scorn, betrayal. They worked together last summer. Now they clash this weekend. Who will win? Find out at this week's Super Heavyweight SmackDown.
Magical, what's happened to this channel? What's happened
The
to our
cursed
league?
desk is back, baby.
We were given a theme and we all ran with it. That's what's happening as we have the Super Heavyweight SmackDown
Please never.
later today.
How is this the cursed
Smackdown.
desk, but this is the content that we're watching? That's
I think it's even more appropriate. This is the content
I've
we're
been a big
watching.
fan. Big fan.
No, honestly, everyone outdoing themselves. That's probably the funniest segments I've ever gotten to see. That's some good stuff. They're all the shenanigans, and we're gonna keep going on with the shenanigans. Because going on this week as well, not only are we having our theme, not only are we having all of these cursed videos, but also we're gonna have a little Twitter contest.
Yes.
So
Very
this one's
important.
Very important. So this is a fun one. All of us have picked a player, and we need to make sure that our player starts popping off on Twitter. I don't know everyone else's strategy. I think I'm winning on this one, and the loser gets a tweet written on their Twitter by the winner of the contest. So there are some
This is true.
stakes in this.
Can I
This
just
is
say,
true.
wait, hold on. Before we actually get into the meat of it, look at Aaron's picture right there. It looks like it has little horns.
Oh,
This is the
I
logo.
mean,
Oh, wait.
Because of
I
the-
do. I feel like Desrex, that might be part of his strategy here.
No,
is that
it's the
his
proving
pick.
grounds. Oh, I'm proving grounds. It's the NACL logo in the background there.
So real quick, who do we all pick here on this desk? I'll let you guys go first.
Chad.
Sierra?
I'll let you guys go first.
I already
Oh,
did.
okay. So what was that again, Bad Match?
Chad.
Okay. I have a Ray who likes puppies and he's 6'4", by the way. Sierra, who do you
He's
have?
the same height as me.
Production, can we go back to us for a second, please, for this one?
Oh, do we have something planned, Sierra?
All right. So this is why everyone should follow APA.
Oh, we
on
get a lecture.
Twitter.
Oh,
All
let's
right? So first off, this is the Twitter. Make sure you go and follow it right here. All right. No ifs, ands, or buts. This has been on your screen for like a solid 5 seconds. Screenshot it.
Oh, yeah, there you go. Yeah, there you go.
are
There you go.
good. All right.
Closer to the camera. Closer.
First off, cool team. When you're on a team like Team Liquid, you know that automatically every single player on that team is super awesome cool, super cool org. So already that just says oodles, especially first year getting into NACL or APA. Second, almost 4K followers already.
I like
Everyone
this seating.
else on the list,
Don't be a
low
bandwagoner.
follower
Yeah,
accounts.
don't be a
You know
bandwagoner.
why?
Everyone
you
else.
know,
This is actually
you
why
know,
you
this is
shouldn't
my
do it. This is
presentation.
why you
This
should
is my
ignore-
presentation. Match, this is my presentation.
Teacher.
So
Teacher. I have
already
questions. Teacher.
4,000 people know just how great this content is, and you can be among them. No other person except for one has this amount of people because no one else is as great. All right. Third off, funny. Username is always planned ahead, but without the following end of the username. That is just pure comedic gold. And going and following the Twitter, you can get other comedic gold just like that, I'm sure. All right. Final. Good at League. You're gonna
Yeah,
get
that's true.
clips. You're gonna get highlights. Already, there was people like on LCS last week, they were talking about him because this kid's so good. So you can make sure to follow him before he makes it on to LCS and is going to be the next league person with like over 1 million followers. So you wanna get in there
Wow.
early, all right?
I gotta
Oh,
step
wait,
up my plans.
Sorry, I wandered away. I stopped paying attention a while ago.
It's okay. I'm sure you already follow him, so I'm not trying to sell him to you, all
Yeah,
right?
hold on. Am I? Let's see if I am.
You unfollow him.
Don't let her wait. Don't let her. Don't you?
No, because I'll unfollow.
Oh god.
Don't you dare. Don't you dare. But
Hold on,
yeah,
hold
that's
on.
why you should follow APA. But we gotta get moving along. We gotta, maybe talk a little bit less about our players' Twitters and a little bit more about the teams in general and how they're doing. Looking at the top of the leaderboard, I'm excited because Big and Fear are two teams that we'll get to see later fighting it out. Top of the leaderboards, one of our pro teams and one of our provisional teams. That's super exciting.
I think the big story so far in NACL this split has been the success of both Fear and Wildcard as our non-affiliate provisional teams. It's been very impressive, and I think Fear get their first true test today going up against Dignitas. Very excited to see that at the end of our day. But Sierra, we are starting off with a great match to kick off our day as well.
We are, so it's a fantastic match later, but it's not like there's going to be boring matches in the meantime. We're going to be starting off with a banger with CLG Challengers going up against 100 Thieves Challengers, and then second off, Immortals Challengers going up against ELF before finally getting into the battle of currently the two top teams and see if Fear can really stand up to the test at that point, because that will be a lot of fun. But it's time to talk about 100 Thieves. And we're talking about great teams and talking about great players and what they're capable of doing. While Magical, here are some pretty great players.
Oh, it's my turn to talk. Oh, so yes.
We'll let you talk once in a while.
Yay, I get to talk. All right, but I'm looking at 100 Thieves. I mean, we always will talk about it's the young top side of the map versus the more veteran bottom side. And this is a team that I think we've seen a lot of strength, like Unforgiven, Destiny. We expect great things from them. And when they have those highs, they look really, really good. Same with Pretty in the mid lane. Like, those highs that he has as a player are great to see, especially on control mages. But sometimes we've seen them falter just a little bit during the split. While Sniper Yukino, I think, have been very consistent. We just haven't seen that big bang from them like we saw when they were making splashes back in Proving Grounds last year.
And then to talk about their challengers for today, absolutely no pun with the ending of these two teams' names and the league, going up against CLG Cubby. Also, you know, a lot of skill among this roster.
Yeah, and this was a roster where we were excited to see 4 of the 5 players returned and add Copy. We felt like this was an upgrade, and we were really looking forward to, you know, what this roster could do with more experience under everyone's belt, with Kevy getting a full split. So far, I think 7-5 with a pretty difficult strength of schedule. It's been a good look for CLG, and they have a great test again in front of them today.
Yeah, it definitely will be a really great matchup and a great test with both of these teams having such skill. And I want to be looking at the mid lane for this too, because both me and Copy, some really great players, both players that could be making way up further and be doing greater and better things. So it'll be really fun then magical to see this little face-off.
Well, that's kind of what I was trying to get at, like with talking about Pretty. When he has his highs, especially on his control mages, guy looks insane. Especially you think about his Talia gameplay, some of the best in the entire league. But we need to see that be more consistent, especially because he is now the veteran voice for this team. He's not the younger player, the younger rookie like he had been in the past, even back when he was first brought in on to IMT Academy way back in the day. He's got to bring more of that experience, and going up against someone like Copy, who himself has to bring a little bit more of an experienced voice now, having played a couple of years in the Academy circuit now into the Challengers League. I look at how these players move around the map and what they do to try to help out, especially like Pretty. When you have this younger side hop lane like Sniper and Yukino, both of them, I think, just as long as they get a little bit more guidance, we see that's when they have their biggest strengths, right? Because they got the hands already. Yukino is very smart on the map. I just think he needs someone to back him up like Pretty does.
Yeah, and, you know, I talked with Pretty before the match today, and I asked him, I was like, you know, what's it been like working with a rookie top side and a very veteran bot side? And he's like, you know, I am the mid laner, I am the glue, right? So I'm just kind of trying to keep everything together at times. I think that Pretty's done a really nice job of that. And I think that why I'm so interested in this matchup is that it is a big part of the difference of strategy between these two teams. CLG loves to play 1-3-1, play 3 lanes. When I was talking with Michi about that, he said, you know, we just have really strong solo laners in Copy and Jenkins. That's something that Pretty's even recognized. Like, I consider Copy one of the better mids in the league. But Pretty, he has been that glue. He's been playing the control mages, the Cinder of the Talia, trying to keep things under control and scale into the game where Pretty has always been fantastic. So I think it's a matchup of two good mid laners, two who are both still making a case that they deserve to be playing at the next level, trying to prove themselves here. And also, they are the difference of their team and kind of where I feel like these teams are strategically different, which makes this a very interesting matchup.
Yeah, it'll be great to see, especially given with what Bree said about, you know, the glue of the team, to see if that could be enough in this matchup when these two teams are going in. It's going to be pretty goodly matched going into this, of how that glue is really going to affect things and who's going to hold and who's going to kind of falter in this.
It is now, Mad Magical, you invent all your words anyway.
Shut up.
I'm gonna, I don't know, probably not. So with that, I am going to disappear and let you guys go to draft.
I mean, Cubby does have a good point. I do make up words all the time, so I can't really be too harsh on you, Sierra. So we'll see you afterwards. We'll get ready for this first series of ours today for our lovely Valentine's Day weekend. And I'm really excited to see how these two teams are going to shake up CLG Challengers, 100 Thieves Challengers, because you talked about the glue from the mid lane, especially from Pretty and how he's played. But I'm looking at CLG and how they are as a team, where it's kind of the opposite, isn't it? You have 4 members that are essentially the glue, the remainers from last year, then you have Copy, the new player that's come in, and I guess you could argue that he's kind of it's a weird situation just because you have all these players that have already played a split together, bringing in a new guy.
I don't know. I mean, I'm gonna rope Sierra back in because we do have a couple seconds to go till a draft too.
Yeah, I'm just sitting here. I'm like,
I was trying to get a good. I was trying to be like a Mimi moment to send her out on, but no, I'm not allowed.
I
to do
appreciate,
that.
Mad Magical, the fact that the casters were trying to start the game, but unfortunately, we do not have that power. Unlike with Twitch
I've been sitting here
to.
pressing the button. Are you kidding me?
That's what I was doing. They gave me this button to push this entire time, and I thought that's what was working.
But before we let Sierra kind of pick our next point, I do want to answer, I think he has to kind of tie together the top side and the bot side, not just because that's the job of the mid laner, but also because, the experience that difference we have on 100 Thieves. I know that from talking with Dan, he's been so impressed by his young guys, not just, the level of play they've already bringing to the table, but also their willingness to improve and their day-to-day, just behavior and trying to get better in this team environment. I think it's something that 100 Thieves are really excited about moving forward. And I think the Copy, in this team, I don't want to say that, I think that you're right in saying that, he's not the glue, but I don't think that CLG really needed that. I kind of think that's where your point is.
I said, they're like 4 members that are the glue. It's kind of weird.
But with that said, I do think that the Copy is kind of the cherry on top, right? I think that CLG, their ability to play out these 1-3-1 strategies, given the strength of both of their solo laners, has been fantastic and has made them, for me, one of the stronger teams in the league. What do we have?
I got the analogy, right?
Okay.
So what it is...
Sierra, Sierra gets to rate it, yeah.
So back in like middle school, high school, did you ever have to do like the project where you built the bridge and then put the weights on top of it?
Yeah.
Well, you can't just have only glue. If you have 4 members that are glue, you have to have the wooden pieces, and that... Copy is the...
Copy's the bridge.
Yeah, he's the bridge, and the rest of the team's the glue that holds it together.
Sierra?
I'm just like... That seems like way too much glue and not nearly enough popsicle sticks.
Let me have this.
But
so Copy has a big say in the team? Like, is he like 80% of the team? Is that what you're saying? Because I feel like it's 80% wood, 20% glue.
I guess I did it wrong in high school.
I would love to see a photo of your bridge, personally. I really would.
Right. What is this? So I'm getting word that our start game button is broken. So we are going to be, get the podcast for a little bit.
Do I get a replacement button then?
I don't think you should have that power. But anyone in chat while you're waiting, I mean, you see the little thing at the bottom, spam and chat who you think will win. As the times goes on, I'm seeing more and more people voting for CLG here. So any 100 Thieves fans, this is your time to really step up on this one. But
I gotta say, this matchup for me is interesting because we are almost at the halfway point of our season. Most of our teams in the league have played 14 games. So after today, they will have played 16, and that is the halfway point. But for both CLG and 100 Thieves, they actually have 3 games this week. 100 Thieves, it's CLG today, and then it is CLG Faith tomorrow, and then Fly Fan the next day. I'm going to go out on a limb and say that's a pretty easy schedule after today. So this is their one test. But CLG, they got a tough run of things. They have 100 Thieves today, Team Liquid Challengers tomorrow, and Golden Guardians to end the week, who did 4-0 last week and are sitting at 9-5. So I think we're going to learn a lot about CLG this week, and maybe learn a lot about 100 Thieves today. So I know that each team is looking forward to this matchup, and I'm excited to see what they are able to bring to the table.
Especially, too, if CLG is able to be taking this win here. I feel like that's just fantastic momentum going into the rest of the week, especially a long week. You don't want to be starting off on that loss. You want to make sure that you can just go out there today, just try and smash the other team a little bit and just be like, all right, like, this is why we should be one of the higher rated teams in the league. Magical, this is the most I've
Magical.
Like,
I was going to let you fill in there.
From you. Yeah.
I know you were, and that's why I purposely didn't.
All right. Well, I mean, while we have more time to kill.
Sierra contemplating life.
I think it is worth mentioning, we did focus a lot on the mid laners. Copy going up against his old org, too, which I always find rather interesting, of course.
Back with the 100 next, by the way.
Yeah, we did see 100 next. A couple of their members on the LCS stage yesterday, and Tenacity, Busio, and Yawn going toe-to-toe. We get to see Copy today going up against his old org. Always a fun one, keeping track of the success of that amateur program. We'll see if Copy can continue to show that he was a good prospect coming out of there today.
Now, well, before we get into the match, we are going to be taking a quick break so I can have a couple of stern words with Magical here. But after that, we're going to hop into draft and the game, so don't go too far. All right, so we have production run into the store right now to get us a new start game button. We're not going to let Magical have that one again, considering he did break the first one. Once that's sorted, we will hop into our first match. It's just going to be a couple of more minutes here as we get it settled. Way to go, Magical. Good
You're
stuff
welcome.
there.
I try.
Yeah, but we'll talk a smidge more about the players before we hop into this, because we did talk a lot about the mid lane in particular here. But instead of going straight into his hard analyst, we're going to take a step back, and I actually just want to ask you guys, in terms of the players here, who do you personally have an eye on in this match and just in this league in general? Like your own personal preferences here.
Oh, man, that's actually hard.
I can start. For me, this match, it's actually Meech. Meech is going up against Unforgiven. That is not an easy matchup for any marksman in this league, given what Unforgiven did prove in the last year in Europe and at Worlds. But I think that Meech is really looking forward to that test. I talked to him a little bit before. He said, hey, I know that Unforgiven is really good. I'm just going into it prepping like I got to play my game. It's just another marksman. And I think that Meech has had an okay start to the split, but he's someone that I feel like hit some really high highs last split. We've seen some of that this year, but not as much as I wanted to see after he did get his rookie split out of the way last year. So it's a good opportunity for Meech to prove himself today, going up against such tough competition in Unforgiven.
God, and that's why it's hard for me to just pick one player, because there's so many storylines, right? Like Jenkins, the redemption arc, trying to get back into the LCS, like having proven himself pretty well this split so far, and like looking to the form that we once saw Bobby Jenkins back in the day on, going up against Sniper, the hot 16-year-old that made Challenger when he was 12 years old. You got that storyline. Kevy from OS playing up against Yukino, another young star from EGP. Pretty versus Copy, a story we saw all last year, constantly playing out with the two mid laners being probably our top two prospects that we saw in the mid lane last year. Like he's already mentioned, Meech versus Unforgiven, Breezy versus Destiny, another good one. I can't choose just one.
No. We're gonna pick one. Pick one.
You know who I'm gonna pick for you?
Okay.
Ooh.
I'm gonna pick Yukino from Hunter Thieves. You know why?
I'm good.
Good choice. Good choice.
You know why?
Why's that?
We have a theme going on in the spirit of Valentine's Day. I don't want to spoil the surprise, but Yukino, he turns 17 on the holiday itself. So happy birthday!
Hey, there we go, birthday boy. Let's do this.
Could have a big week for his birthday, going up against CLG Faith and FlyFam Waiter. If he gets a 2-0, expected 6-0 from Hunter Thieves.
Hey, nothing.
I like that.
Nothing better than getting a couple of birthday wins and then going and celebrating. Love that. We'll have to see if we can pull it off, though. We're going to draft for realsy this time, so I'll see you later.
Can I push the button now?
Hey! Did you push the button?
I did.
Okay, I don't know if that was like for draft or to go into the rift.
Oh, no. The it's for draft. It's always for draft.
All right. Well, either way, thank you, Mad Magical. I very much appreciate it.
Because I clearly am in control of all this, and I'm the best person to put in charge of it. Let's just put that out there right now. Of all casters you want in charge of really sensitive things, I'm probably the best at that.
Yeah, and that's why I'm going to take control over the draft. As we are diving into the game here, CLG versus Hunter Thieves. Something I've really noticed from going through the tape of both of these teams, I think there's a big strategic difference in the sense that CLG, a lot of their comps, they're opting to play 1-3-1. So they want to play 3 lanes for the game, and a lot of that revolves around Copy in the mid lane, picking champs that can play side lanes like the Ryze, the Akali, the Sylas. Whereas on the side of 100 Thieves, it's been a lot about the control mages for Pretty, which makes for an early game that you have to survive, and 4-1ing throughout the game. So it doesn't mean that you're not always playing that third lane, but there's going to be more instances where 100 Thieves are grouped up. So I'm really curious to see how those strategies clash today. And if either team decides to change or adapt to maybe play into what the other one has been playing for the majority of the split so far.
I'm curious on that as well, especially because the reason why we were highlighting Pretty earlier on is how he likes to play with these control mages is mostly to try to clear out the waves and rotate elsewhere. That's why he was so good on that Talia that we talked about before last year, something that he had dominated for that exact strategy. playing around his side lanes, trying to help out so that they could set up a 4-1 later on with either Sniper or Unforgiven on this team being the beneficiaries. There we go. I could say it.
I gotta say too, I already 100 Thieves, I think they're actually really attacking Kevy's champion pool. So denying the Maokai and taking the Sejuani, those are two of Kevy's most played, and Elise is off the table too. The only other champ that Kevy's actually played this split has been that Poppy, so Kevy gonna have to reach a little bit further down that pool, and we'll see if he wants to go for the Vi, given that there's a Lulu showing. We could see a Zeri from 100 Thieves.
I would expect the Vi.
Yeah.
Like you said, the Lulu showing, I'm expecting
All right, never
Zeri
mind.
for Unforgiven. Nothing too fanciful. I know you were setting up all these points.
Oh, wait.
That one's
different.
interesting. That's different. Not the Nami that we were expecting. Sona, kind of like the fallback for Nami.
That's different. I was about to say, like, guys, it's another draft. You know, we have the bot lane handshake, the jungle handshake. I don't have to talk about this. We have a Sona now. So that brings a lot more scaling into that bot lane. It's a very different look. You can still synergize with the Lucian, but it's more of a focus on grouping as a team later into the game rather than dominating that mid game with the Nami. So really curious to see that from CLG, actually.
The one problem I always have with this is because I look at Zeri Lulu lanes and being one of those undersung heroes of the level 1, level 2 power spike, especially going into something like Sona, that is incredibly weak early game, especially the aggressive bot laners like that, and it's Unforgiven Destiny playing this combo. It's not like you're going up against just anybody. You're going up against one of the LEC All-Pro ADCs.
Yeah, it definitely not an easy ask, but again, Demetri, it's a great opportunity for him to step up to the challenge and put up some of that great gameplay that we saw from him. A lot of last split, some of this split, and are looking to see more. But with that said, that's Sona, again, more emphasis later into the game where the power is going to be. And I am really curious to see, how CLG can kind of build around this as, I think Nami, it brings the tidal wave, which is a knockup. I'm curious now if Zeri actually opts for Cleanse to get out of the Sona ult. Could be a change we could see from Unforgiven, or maybe an early Mikhail's coming out of Destiny to try and help with that stun.
Curious to see that as well, but in the second part of the band, seeing a lot of mid lane focus. Pretty.
We have Cassante.
Yeah, Cassante could be for Sniper. I don't know if I want to see that just necessarily with how many mid laners has been taken away. Also, Sniper, a much more fun player to see on things that can carry in lane, but then you're picking that blind into Jenkins. The Fiora is always an option that tends to do well into Cassante, so Sniper blinds it.
Now, Jenkins' champ pool has been a little curious so far this split. His most played is Cassante, but there's been the Warwick. We've seen his Kled, and now we're going to see a Jax. Keep in mind, he had a 5-man Counter-Strike that helped change the tide of the game against FlyQuest last week on this Jax. We'll see it again this week.
I love how everyone's hovering Nami, just kind of you're expecting this, but that's not happening at all. We know that for a while now. And Copy getting Rise, setting up that 1-3-1 you were talking about earlier. So pretty. The answer he has, Azir's not on the table anymore. Syndra is something he could play.
Yeah.
Even Cassiopeia is something that Pretty has played in the past.
I'm expecting Syndra. I do think Cassio is good, though, this game. You get outranged a little bit by the Lucian, but that's really it. So we'll see if Pretty's up to it. That does look to be the pick. A good call, Mad Magical. We'll see the snake.
Hey, I'm big brain, right? We all know this.
Yeah.
The big brain play-by-play. Totally right all the time. Don't ignore all the predictions I get that are wrong.
No, I mean, that's a good one. And again, like the only champ that can really interact outside of the range of Cassiopeia, it's going to be Lucian, and that's only when he presses the culling. So I really like Cassio because we know it wins that 1v1 against Rise, but you actually do, have pressure against other champs in the game. That's something that Cassio can sometimes struggle with given her limited range, but everyone on the side of CLG is going to play within that range. So I think it's a really good game for Pretty to debut this pick this split, as I think it's something that is very powerful in this game.
And you kind of were talking about it. It's really good into CLG challengers, especially because how many jump abilities they have. Miasma counters pretty much every one of them. Unless Kevy gets his ult off first, you can't even use that while in Miasma. You have to wait until you get outside of that because you're grounded the whole time. There's a lot of opportunities for 100 Thieves to play around those team fights, but it's going to really depend on, I think, how these lane phases go. You got Copy here on Rise, something that doesn't do the best against Cassiopeia, but I'm looking at Kevy, Yukino as the two junglers, the two members of both teams to try to break open mid lane wide.
And I like that you bring in the junglers to this, because that is one way that you can get out of the Cassio matchup as the Rise, and that is bring your jungler to help with this lane. You still have that early gank assist in the Empowered Rune Prison. You know, landing that root, you can follow up with Vi, and you can flash over the ground. So let's see if CLG and Kevy can set up something in the mid lane to maybe get this Cassio behind early and give Rise those windows to roam that are so important to Rise games.
At the moment, no shenaniganeries. Definitely a word. Don't worry, Sierra out there. It's totally a word, and so is Goodly. We've decided this. But in this game, how goodly will the performances be in the early game? Because not saying anything too fanciful, looking at both junglers, they're going to be starting on the same half of the map.
And, oh, hold on. Honestly, a little bit of surprise coming out of the fact that Vi is working her way up towards the top side. As this is not what we're used to seeing in the meta. Again, Mad Magical, I will say that for Yukino on the Sejuani, Fiora is an appealing lane to go towards, and Jax, I think, always has increased value in a Sejuani game, given the synergy with and against Sejuani with that Permafrost passive. So the fact that both junglers are working up to the top side, I think each team recognizes that Jax versus Fiora is a volatile matchup, that the mid-lane matchup also matters quite a bit if you can get Cassio's flash out early and try and make some plays on her, as Pretty's doing a really nice job in this early lane phase to get some harass down onto the side of the Rise.
So this is where I ask you. You talk about playing towards the top side. Is that necessarily going to be the game plan for Kevy and Yukino? Why not clear out this bottom quadrant and then look for a mid lane play?
Oh, I think it's very much the plan, as Yukino, he's actually skipping over the Wolves. Maybe he thinks that Vi's trying to get up in his face on this side of the map. He dropped a ward to protect himself, and you can see Sniper also dropped the trinket to make sure that he doesn't get dove by the Vi, but Vi's going for the long clear. So we'll see what Kevy does after the Raptors. Has an opportunity to cross and likely maybe attack Sniper here on the bounce.
As bounce will eventually get there. Nice freeze from Jenkins, kind of stalling this out a little bit. But you want to make sure that Kevy is finding a position on the map, and he is invading.
Oh, well played.
Going towards the Raptors, and like I said, well played in the top lane. I'm really still just looking at these junglers. I'm looking at how Kevy is playing around Yukino. Unfortunately, he wasn't able to steal away any of the Raptors. It was already cleared out by Yukino because of that ward place down earlier. And so this gives Kevy very little he can do while on this top side of the map.
And we did see Kevy actually find Yukino on the Raptors. Wasn't able to deny them looking at the CS. But we will see if there's a fight over the top crab. As you can see, Yukino, he's actually going to be spotted crossing. He's going to do his wolves and go bot. So nice work from Kevy, playing towards the priority that his lanes have. But again, all they're going to get is that priority on the crab. That really hasn't been enough so far this season. So we'll see 100 Thieves. I think they're okay with how this early game's gone so far. And the worst thing that's happened so far is the fact that that top lane is shoving away from Sniper.
Slowly we'll be pushing back towards Jenkins. But again, I don't see this as like being the worst for either team at the moment. They're fine with kind of getting these levels. You think about Sejuani, Vi, both of them want level 6.
For me, it favors 100 Thieves. We didn't really establish which team we felt like had the scaling advantage. I feel like 100 Thieves scales much harder, given the Cassio, given the Zeri Lulu, and what Fiora can do in the side lane in the later stages. So I don't think that CLG has to speed the game up instantly. I think CLG has to speed the game up eventually. So we'll see if CLG can find some success in doing that. And I think a lot of that, again, it's got to beat through these solo lanes.
And we're seeing right now Jenkins is getting a good advantage over Sniper, but Sniper hadn't backed just yet. We'll recall back in the lane as the lane was frozen outside of his third aggro. Now that he has a Sheen, should be a little bit easier to fight against Jenkins.
And he did get the experience for the caddy, so that's not all bad for the side of Sniper. I do want to pause though, as Yukino is actually getting behind Copy in the mid lane. Copy fogging down towards the bot side, isn't spotted towards the top side, and Pretty has yet to TP. So maybe when Pretty TP's back, we see something, as Yukino, all of his camps are down right now, so he's looking to make a play, and he's actually going to circle towards the bot lane.
Yeah, bot lane looking pretty juicy. Trying to get on top of them, but both of them should be safe. Just getting a little bit of damage back on a Breezy, realizing that Kevy's nearby. Not really an angle you want to complete, especially because Copy was the first one to rotate around, even getting Kevy chasing back Yukino all the way to the tower.
And again, no blood. Overall, I favor the Casio. Look at her items already.
She's already level 6. And look at the damage. It's the 1v1. Pretty almost takes down Copy by himself. And Kevy realizing, okay, I can't fight against this Cassiopeia even if Petrifying Gaze is down.
Pretty taking that wave when Copy was fogging. That gave him 6. Now they're going to stop the recall. Copy's dead.
Oh, no. Copy. First blood for Yukino. Smart moves out of the young jungler.
I mean, that was all Pretty who set it up. The fact that he had 6. I don't know if Copy realized the fact that Pretty had level 6 when he left the lane, but Pretty used that advantage to the fullest, chunking out Copy, now taking him down. Those are waves being crashed that Rise loses. The Casio is at a great item point, getting ahead in this matchup, exactly what 100 Thieves wants in this game.
And this is exactly as the Cassiopeia matchup will go with Rise, especially if you fall slightly behind. That's why Meech Breezy were attempting to make a play in the bot lane with Kevy nearby to get something back on the map to make up for the mistakes mid.
Now, Yukino in that play has actually flipped his pathing, so he's now working his way top to bot, so Sniper's going to be on his own. And with that chunk, Kevy is going to take at least the bot crab for the side of CLG. We'll see if he sticks around for the dragon. Instead, his bot lane needs a reset. But those are summoner spells out of the bot lane. They can look to punish Destiny. And again, I think getting this bot lane ahead, we've seen a lot of Lucian versus Zeri Lulu. Sona's a different wrinkle, but the scaling will be really nice. Sona's really the one thing that's trying to save CLG in the scaling department. As I favor the scaling 100 Thieves, but Sona does scale out of this world. So we'll see how much work Sona can do in the later stages, you know?
And it's so weird to talk about, like, oh, the support is the one scaling, but with how
Sona's
Sona...
filthy.
Right, with how Sona works, it just...
Really filthy.
It makes it so you're like, I'm an early game champion. Ha, JK, I got a Sona on my team, so never mind. I can scale all I need to, but like you talked about, across the board, 100 Thieves challengers have the advantage. In fact, they're utilizing those advantages they've gotten early in this game to grab themselves that first dragon and looking at where they next try to make a mark, utilizing Yukino now that he's level 6.
So the bot lane play did go in favor of CLG, but they used it to reset. So 100 Thieves take the dragon on that reset. We'll see if they can snowball it into a clean Rift Herald. It does mean that Yukino, he's got to clear out his camps and work his way up, and Kevy, knowing the dragon was taken, will actually take the red buff away from Yukino. So well played by Kevy. It's going to matter a lot going into this Rift Herald fight, and that should give him 6 as well.
Should give him 6. Yeah, make it even against Yukino at the moment. But still, having the Sejuani with level 6 too, both junglers still the ones we're looking at to make these plays to try to impact this map, because with how mid lane is going right now, Kevy's having a very rough time making that mark.
Now, Jenkins did get another base in, so he's going to have item advantage and will be pushing into Sniper after this wave hits the turret. But Sniper has a slow push going. This is the wave where they're going to start the Rift Herald.
Can I just say, I've got to play Jax recently, and I hadn't played him since they changed his ult, right? And my god, is he disgusting with that ult. Now,
Yeah, that ult helps a lot.
I understand why so many people are playing him. Like, I always knew Jax was really strong. I'm like, yeah, it's good. And then you're like, oh, it's stronger than it used to be, and it was already pretty strong to begin with.
It did get damage, as we see. Unforgiven tanking that up.
Though.
Hold on.
Okay,
Hold
1v3. Counter-strike on it too. Petrifying Gaze doesn't connect. They get the flash
King
out.
That's big.
And here's the follow-up into the backline onto Yukino. But Kevy had to flash away. And everyone burning so much. The reset onto Rift Herald. Nobody gaining anything.
I do like... So Yukino is insta-basing. He knows that he has to go back. I think the Rift Herald, though, being stalled, that's a big win for CLG, as 100 Thieves put a lot of time into trying to execute that play. And well done by Jenkins for burning so many cooldowns, or forcing 100 Thieves to burn so many cooldowns on himself and getting out.
As right now, Jenkins against Sniper. Gotta be careful on that one. Sniper looks for the dive, and he's taking the turret. 1-on-1v1 double kill on each side.
All right, well, that's a trade. I don't know if that favors the side of Sniper, as that guarantees the fact that Herald goes down, but I'd like to see the young guys, you know, trying to get active, trying to limit test. He did kill some creeps away from the Jax. That's the cope. I'll take the Herald. Oh, we're back?
No, we were back for a second. There we go. We're back to live. We're just cycling through everything.
I appreciate, you know, the Valentine's Day theme of showing love to the casters mid-game, but I'd rather, you know,
as I'm leaning over, like, making sure I can see everything on the screen.
You're engaged. That's what matters.
It's just wait till it cuts through and it's like a team fight happening and I'm just jumping all across the place like I usually do. People don't get to see that, but like whenever a team fight happens, it's real. He gets to see it.
It's my favorite, yeah.
I'm just going crazy everywhere.
It's part of the Mad Magical experience, as right now, part of the Under Thieves experience with this comp is going to be seeing what they do next. Still, I think the quiet early game does benefit them.
It does, but this is where I'm starting to worry a little bit for CLG. They need to set up this 1-3-1 that you talked about, and they're never getting they don't have any of these super proactive plays that they've been able to make.
I'm also quite curious about what's going on in the mid lane here with Pretty's build. I really want to see... No, I really want to see what Pretty base is here. Because we have a few components that could be used for something else. Okay, never mind. It's just a rod. All right.
Rod of Ages. Come on,
all right.
You are clearly not a Rod of Ages gamer.
I am.
No, you're not. No, you doubted. You doubted.
No, I've been seeing some technology. That's all.
You can see the technology, but if you're a true Rod of Ages gamer, it's the first item no matter what. Anyone who says otherwise is wrong.
No, I agree. But I've been seeing some tech. It's some old Casio tech. We'll talk about it if it comes up in a future game. As Meech, well done, gets the flash shot on Unforgiven.
Realizing he's got that mid-game power still with calling. There's no Destiny nearby. Don't have that wild growth nor polymorph to stop him. Good play out of the bot lane of CLG, but where can they now impact the map?
I like how Kevy's here. He does have the Rift Herald to try and get Lucian some plates, but also Unforgiven's low. And if they keep Zeri under turret, then they can maybe snowball this into a dragon as well.
Yukino's nearby. They still have wild growth up. It's going to be difficult for them to actually commit to this dive, even with Shelly, because Pretty's on his way. They get the flash out of Breezy. Burning one summoner. Kevy could re-engage. Looks for the knockup, but Yukino was able to temper that and get out.
That is a cooldown that's burned. So again, if CLG keep up this bot priority, if they start the dragon quickly, they will have cooldown advantage in terms of Vi has an ult, Sejuani does not. So again, I think CLG really looking to pressure this dragon. You can see Copy now fogging towards the bot side and maybe a play on a Pretty.
Pretty, a bit aggressive on this one. That's going to be Assault and Battery, making sure they get the kill on him.
Yeah, I mean, Pretty should know that Cavi's in the bot side. It's not like Cavi was trying to hide the fact that, he was helping out his bot lane. So Pretty getting a little bit too aggressive there in the 1v1. Cavi takes him down, and that will be the free dragon that CLG was looking for. So good play, a mistake from Pretty, good punish from CLG.
That's the kind of play you like to see from CLG too to get back into the game. It sure is off the back of a mistake, but they were looking for the proactive plays initially. Sending down Rift Herald in bot lane so they could rotate for the dragon. It just happened to be that they could also get the pick on a Pretty at the same time. That'll net them an even dragon state at the moment.
Against CLG, we feel like they need to get a couple things going their way early, as really going to question the Sona scaling. You can see Sniper's theory in this matchup. So the Counter-Strike from Jax, you get to control when it pops, but Sniper's not really using the riposte to try and guess the stun. He's just doing it to try and get vitals and slow down Jax's attack speed whenever he jumps in. He actually doesn't care if he gets stunned or not. He just wants to make sure that the W hits onto Jax. I think that's a decent way to play out this matchup here for the side of Sniper. If you're able to get the Q, auto W auto down, where, you get like the big proc from Jax, I think riposting the damage is actually more valuable than trying to guess the stun. So I do like how Sniper's playing this.
Also make sure you're not autoing during the Counter-Strike. But now, look at this one. They've got the back line. They've got the engagement they need to Kevy. Heavy goes in, gets a lot of damage on a Sniper, but he pops the ghost with the grand challenge. The flash coming in from Kevy, but not picking up the kill even with the red buff. Sniper's out of there. Realm Warp 2 from Copy. The flash in with the Rune Prison to pick up the kill.
Nice play from Copy to follow up. He takes down another 100 next alum in Sniper. And that's the play that you try and look for when it comes to Rise, is Yukino. Nice skirmish.
Yes, but you're not going to win this one. You are still going for the tank build with the Radiant Virtue.
He's got ults.
He's got ults, but Copy was there. That was the biggest thing. Okay. It was going to be difficult because you just don't have that damage. You have ults for both sides. You have to make sure you're playing very cautiously when you're going up against Copy.
Well, Sniper got him to burn a lot of things in the top lane on the side of CLG, but still, CLG makes the play work, and they do connect with that first brick. So, really good from CLG as they have a small gold lead now, and we'll see how strong these mid-game fights can be. As I really feel like with the Vi and with the Lucian, this is where they can look to effectively execute. It's actually, curiously enough, look at the Lucian. A little bit of a different build coming in here. No Gale
Interesting.
Force. Going to be a Kraken Slayer.
Going for more scaling. More leaning into utilizing the Sona damage later on in the game. I'm definitely curious about the technology on this one, Cubby.
So with the Navori second, you do proc more double ups. So I guess if you don't feel like you need Gale Force, this is a much, much, much higher damage build. We'll see if Meech can, maybe with the Sona, and when the Navori Quick Blades are completed, can pump out that damage. It's not like he's going to be shredding tanks, but, there is health being stacked on the Yukino and Pretty especially. So I don't hate it. It's just a little bit tougher to execute. We'll see if Meech is up to it.
The bot lane's pretty quiet during this time of the game.
Here comes the 4-1.
It pretty much. It's the 4-1 now set up for 100 Thieves. I'm looking at that 1-3-1 for CLG and whether or not that's going to work in time to counteract this powerful quadruplet.
They don't really care about the Rift Herald here. Losing the mid-outer isn't ideal, but they're trying to just answer back with bot, which I think they're going to do just fine. And now we'll see if 100 Thieves can answer by taking down Jenkins.
Oh, that's going to be the Glacial Prison. Getting a lot of damage on Jenkins. He popped the ult. He's got a lot of armor back on his side. With a lot of damage on his side. Kevy helping out. They pick up the kill on a Jenkins. Eventually, Kevy, unfortunately, outmanned and outgunned. Cannot fight this one back, even with the reinforcements on their way to the top lane. You see, it's a long lane.
Poppy just got realm warp.
Yeah, they got the realm warp. Waiting for it out. Does he want to pop it? Looking for the snipe.
Oh, no.
They've got the polymorph onto Kevy. The copy's the one you got to worry about. The Rapop's getting a lot of damage back onto Kevy, but he's got the shield and he's got the heals. With the nice crescendo, the flash away. Woo! They picked up one. They're looking for the realm warp into the back line on a Cypher, and it's a complete rout. 100 Thieves are inside the alcove and dying to the forces of CLG Challengers.
There was no mana left on the Cassiopeia, and it's a rout. Is Copy on the rise? Yes, he was counterpicked, but once he was able to take down Pretty with the help of Yukino in the mid lane, Copy has been dominating the map on the rise. He's been a part of every play for CLG. They needed to get ahead in this mid game. Copy's making it work as we take another look. So they know that they have numbers, right? It's a 4-1 stack. They're trying to snowball it in the top side. Jenkins buys time, and honestly, Jenkins does a great job here. He actually got out of the Cassio ult. So 100 Thieves take so much damage and Pretty burn through so much mana just to make sure that the Jax goes down. They look at the health bars. They look at the 3v4, say, we have a blue buff rise. We have everything. Let's see if we can make this work. I thought it was in trouble here when Kevy actually, got taken down, guessed the wrong brush, but Kevy gets out. It's a beautiful ult from Breezy to turn it around. Then it's just all Copy. He has the mana. He has the resources. 100 Thieves has nothing left.
There's no way for them to escape either Sniper, one member who can run away from the battle. But it's a good play. It's these rotations that CLG Challengers have constantly made as a unit, and bringing Copy in, he has fit so well with the rest of the team, trying to facilitate that role of being not the glue, but the bridge that is put together by the rest of the team.
Oh my god, they killed the Rift Herald too. So, 100 Thieves really gets nothing from that play. CLG is on the Dragon. And again, for CLG, this mid-game where we said, they're trying to play more lanes, they have to be able to execute that into the Cassio to win. They're doing so very successfully in this mid-game, Mad Magical. And look at how accelerated Rise has gotten. 3-1 and 2. He's halfway to stacking up the Rod, but he already has that Seraph's completed. The tier isn't even evolved for the Cassio, and no components on the Seraphs for Pretty, so Copy's very far ahead of this matchup, and it has the potential to really drive home this lead at this point of the game.
This is one of those champions, Copy, this split has been performing so well on. You think a lot of the wins were off the back of maybe some plays from Jenkins, but also off the plays in the side lanes out of Copy to bring attention to him.
The Rise is 2-1 for Copy, and this is his 4th place, so that makes it his most played champ of the split. But I think the interesting part about Copy, thinking back to his time with 100 Next, what did Copy do so well? It was enabling Tenvi, enabling his jungler. And I think that in this meta, you are trying to play through your solo lanes, picks like Maokai, Vi. You're taking those for the utility and the engage, not the damage, but Copy's making it work on a champion he's historically been successful with. He's impacting the map and pumping out the damage on this Rise. Been a great champ for him in CLG. Great to see it perform this game.
We can even talk about the evolution of Copy. Think about last year, too, where he played more of the lane-dominant champions. Think about the Tryndamere dive under 3 turrets that he had. You mentioned the Akali at the beginning of the day. These are things that he grew because he wanted not just to be that member who bolstered the rest of the team. He wanted to start being the carry, and we've seen that this year.
Great to see him be the carry, but also still that playmaker that we know that Copy is. Of course, was originally a Silas Zed player in solo queue. So seeing more of that on stage has been a lot of fun with the Assassins, but now seeing him impact the map on Rise also great. As Yukino, he's looking. Unforgiven can jump over.
They've got the pick. It's Copy. Had to flash away. Nice crescendo, but it's going to be a cleanse. Unforgiven's got to be careful because Copy's got a lot of damage, even if you have the same amount.
They at least get some summoner spells out of CLG, so that is something they can look to punish with Yukino. As this next dragon, I think, will be the next point of contention for our teams here. And I am really curious to see if 100 Thieves chooses to contest. Again, this Cassio is behind. She needs to catch up in the side lane. You can see Pretty farming in the weak side right now. There's no pressure on the map for the side of CLG, the side close to Baron's, the side where you're going to get easier farm, and that's the only objective up. So they are trying to get some more resources than Pretty. Seraphs has been completed. See what else you can get is Unforgiven.
She's an assist, but Unforgiven was barely able to get enough space away as Yukino looks for the re-engage onto Meech, taking a bit of damage. But here's Jenkins getting only the stun onto Yukino, not the target they want to latch onto.
Again, though, a flash out of Destiny. It's a high-value flash for CLG. If they can blow up the Lulu. It's a lot of utility that will be missing on the side of 100 Thieves for a fight.
As you can see now, CLG have got themselves set up in this 1-3-1. Copy's constantly on the top side, Jenkins on the bot side. If they need to roam, they quickly can move together as a squad to collapse on this mid lane. And as you talked about, 100 Thieves don't really have much they can do. Every single time you have one of these members show up, a key summoner gets blown out of someone like Destiny, Unforgiven, or even wasting these ults out of the 100 Thieves members, which then we were talking about what CLG can do to get back into this game previously. We look at 100 Thieves and what they can do in this game, and it seems like they have to have a perfect fight. They have to have everyone group up with a beautiful petrifying gaze out of Pretty. This puts a lot of weight on the mid laner.
Yeah, I think they just need to absorb the engage for CLG well, but it's tough right now. Lucian did hit the Navori point, so Lucian very powerful at this point of the game, and especially with the Kraken Slayer. You know, those double ups will be hitting extras. Now they go on the
back line with the crescendo. They're using everything just to kill Destiny. He couldn't wild growth that whole time. No flash, and they've got Yukino. Jungler's gone. Baron for CLG.
Great setup from CLG as they attack the flash this Lulu. Jenkins milked that summoner spell out in the mid lane skirmish, and now CLG cashes it in as again the side lane pressure. It's overwhelming 100 Thieves as they take Baron, and they even have time to reset for Dragon. This is beautiful play from CLG.
Absolutely clinical. Just if we get a look at that replay, poor Destiny did not get a move that whole time. Like, I'd imagine one of those death timers where you look at the CC and it's the entirety of your death time, right? The entire time you're in the fight was how long you were CC'd for.
There was nothing that Destiny could do, and it was a great setup. CLG had a control ward over the wall on that top side, too, so they set up the vision to make sure they could make the pick. Heavy made it happen with Breezy, who followed up on the ult. A really good play from CLG. And that might make this next dragon uncontestable for the side of 100 Thieves.
But they are still posturing around it. They don't want to just let that go quietly. If you even got the first members here, they can burn this down quickly.
I mean, it's going to be expensive. They get it because of the Cassio, but this is expensive because they're opening up mid-outer. And keep in mind, there's a Realm Warp from Copy. Oh, Realm Warp's actually, it's on cooldown. There is an Empower TP, and Copy's just planning to cut him off. So, again, they're going to try and cash this into 2 turrets, maybe more.
Now it's Copy, who has to be careful. They've got the damage. He's got the shield. He's still alive. Finally, he gets killed by Unforgiven. Who got the background looking for Breezy. They've lost the support, but Unforgiven is going to be the carry unless Jenkins can do something about it. Cleansing away. Unforgiven coming back every time. Still alive. Diving back in. How does he do it from the LEC to the NACL?
And that's what can happen if 100 Thieves are grouped, because Pretty on the Cassio, the ground, everyone has to jump into you on this comp. Much like how we found a pick for CLG to get that Baron, 100 Thieves, they found Copy for free. He was trying to cut him off, and he overplayed his hand by a big margin. 100 Thieves take him down and punish the rest.
And just looking at this, it's Unforgiven spacing here. How well he positions himself. But what?
I mean, they killed Copy before any damage could go on anyone important for 100 Thieves. It's a winning fight from the start. That's the most fed member for CLG. Copy goes down for free, and Unforgiven just gets to go off from here.
All right, that is fair. That is a fair point. And the rest 100 Thieves utilizing that power that Zeri has. Even with no Destiny, no Wild Growth needed, they've got way too much damage, and they are back in this game.
That was so big for 100 Thieves. I mean, that was a risky call to go for that Dragon. Keep in mind, CLG were trying to take 2 turrets. If they get out, they go play through top. They can get more, giving up that Dragon for a ton of gold in their pockets. But the fact that fight it goes in 100 Thieves' favor, and CLG only get 1 turret out of that, a 2k gold deficit is not the end of the world here for 100 Thieves. And they continue to stack up farm on this Cassio. She hasn't gotten any kills yet, but that's a death cap that might be finished on the next base man Magical. And that's going to mean a lot of damage coming out of the Snake's way.
It doesn't matter if you've got a kill or not. If you're playing Cassiopeia, right? You've got the damage. You already have all this gold that you need to make sure you're even with Copy at this point. Just slightly behind on the itemization. And when we look at everyone else on the map, they're all doing well. You've got 3 items for Unforgiven to compare and to compete with Meech's 3s on the other side.
Now, both objectives are synced up in their spawn timer here in Magical. So I don't think we're going to get too much more action until then. Maybe we look out for a Rise Realm Warp or some fishing. But I think most of these teams are going to be posturing to take flashes away before the next fight. I don't know if we're going to have a big skirmish breakout. My eyes right now are on Copy with that Realm Warp. But again, 100 Thieves, we feel like time's still very much their friend here. Given the power these characters have. Oh, boy.
They look for the mid lane. Yukino, the one that they put all their attention on. He only had a Warmog. No resistances to be named of. So they get the pick onto the jungler again. But 2 minutes until anything spawns. That is a lot of time for CLG to gain control of the map.
The kill is one thing. The more valuable thing I'm looking at on my screen, Unforgiven down flash. So they got that off screen. Well done from CLG. Again, they're playing for summoner spells at this point. Unforgiven lives, but this is now something they can look to attack in the next fight.
Yeah, we gotta take a look at the replay of how that happened. It's probably just season. No, not even having the ult. No, it is.
Nice
what
run
am I
work.
saying? There it is.
No, well done. Very well done. As Yukino knows he can't throw the Glacial Prison at Meech. He has Cleanse. And Yukino kind of presents himself to die. Kevy, good body block from him. Well played from CLG. Kevy and Copy syncing up to set that up and get the flash out Unforgiven and a kill for themselves. That's big. Something we're going to have to look out for now.
Playing into kind of what we were talking about with that 1-3-1, where you can roam up the side laners back into the fight and collapse every single time. You see, hey, it's pretty clearing in the bot lane. They don't have that member there in time. We're already on the play. We can be proactive and look for all this damage. As Meech constantly is trying to see if he can force out members, but it's kind of like you said, Cubby. At this point, you're just trying to get whatever summoners you can out before that 50 seconds before either Baron or Dragon's up.
I know we've really set up the mid laners, talked about them a lot in the pre-show in here, but as we get in the later stage of the game, Magical, I think we got to keep our eyes on Meech. Again, he was, recognize that Unforgiven is tough competition in this league. Meech, in his second split in NACL, does have an opportunity here to put together a great game start to finish on this Lucian. With these, the Kraken Slayer and Navori Quick Blades, the DPS from this Lucian much higher than the Gale Force RFC build that we've been seeing. And it is a shorter range comp for 100 Thieves. We'll see if Meech can make the most of it.
I also like that Breezy, that Mikhail's completed, added safety
That's
layers
big.
for either Meech or for Copy if they do get themselves out of position.
Big. That's a good call out, Magical. That Mikhail's could be game changing as Unforgiven. Able to get away. Nice Glitter Lance from Destiny. You can see this being started up immediately as Sniper does have the move from bot lane, and Cassio burns this so quickly.
Realm Warp though, Copy. Kevy's in the pit. Looking at Sniper and Jenkins right behind. There's going to be a smite fight. Who's going to go for it? They go for the pick on to Copy. Flashing away with Unforgiven chasing, but they've got the damage on Yukino. The follow-up, but Kevy couldn't do anything. They've got the damage, and it's going to be Unforgiven yet again, taking down a member with Pretty getting the kill on that one with Jenkins, the one with the grand challenge laid out. Unforgiven taking down names in this fight.
And the way that 100 Thieves played that fight, Jenkins could never get in. They started the objective quickly because Sniper had the move. And by working to the top side, they could never allow for the Jax to join as Breezy. He might be going down to the back half.
He's got Meech. He's got Meech. And he's got a lot of damage.
Yeesh.
Look at that on to Destiny with the shield, but Unforgiven damage is too much to overcome.
And the ground was too much as well, as Meech, he couldn't dance around the fight with the Navori Lucian. Pretty keeps him in his place is now Breezy.
Breezy almost getting the kill.
He's getting fishy.
He wants to at least turn it back, and he does.
1 gig gold to the Soda, baby. Breezy will take that. Honestly, Soda's great to have gold on again. She scales and Bad Magical. We got a crazy game to start things off for today.
Let's go. Love these kind of games.
Okay.
This is wild. We get a look at this fight, and just go through it.
So look at Jenkins. Jenkins cannot join the fight. Sniper is kind of marking him, zoning him off. So when 100 Thieves just play to the top side, they get a 5v4. And the way that they manage the health bars, again, retreating, making sure that Cassio is always in range. If you fight to go backwards, Cassio can always pump out damage with Zeri. And if you don't kill Zeri in the first round of spells, she can take over the fight. And that's exactly what Unforgiven was able to do.
Getting all the damage, pumping it out. Oh,
what is going on? Go to live.
Yeah, let's go to live, because that's going to be a Baron taken.
Action does not stop here in NACL.
Oh, okay. Just barely enough time. I thought possibly there was going to be the YOLO steal from Yukino as he spotted out with the Scryer's Bloom. Well, like I said, it doesn't stop. We got a Baron back onto CLG Challengers.
It was just a YOLO Baron, you know? It's casual. Okay. That's going to keep CLG in the game. Again, I think that with the gold deficit for 100 Thieves, it really doesn't matter at this point. The Baron for CLG, we have a pretty close game on our hands. Is now.
No, did not connect Sniper. Sniper's playing with them right now. He's saying, all right, continue to chase me. Get all this attention on me. Waste your Baron buff, why don't you?
I don't really know how CLG got a free Baron. I don't see Realm Warp on cooldown. I guess 100 Thieves just deployed both their soul laners to the bot side of the map and lost it. That's something that 100 Thieves will be looking at in review. But with that said, CLG have their second Baron of the game. And they will use this to get more gold in their pockets. As that is already one inner being taken. And the second inner, it's going to fall for free.
Far more effective Baron this time around.
Yeah, I mean, 100 Thieves are stuck in their base. Still, we've seen how lethal that team fight can be for 100 Thieves. So frankly, the fact that CLG got this Baron, that's the much needed gold in their pockets.
They really needed that. The gold has hovered at 2,000 between the two for a long time. So finally cracking that threshold, even if it's not that much you gained over, any gold at this point, trying to get a lead over the great team fight, the great scaling that Unforgiven and Pre have, is necessary.
And I think all eyes just have to be on our marksman at the later stages. And also Pretty, who has a Zanya's Wrapped and a Death Cap. Should be in the pockets of copy for the next time that he goes back to base. But he's stuck right now. No flash.
Trying to get away the shield, but he cannot get out of that one. Great play out of 100.
Yeah, really good again. He's flashless, so they always get something. They will drop an inhibitor for this, but there could be a post-fight.
It is a trade. Now they've got to get out. CLG Challengers realizing everyone is looking for the collapse.
Yeah, they're looking.
Not going to be Glacial Prison up. They have to be careful. The Zap doing only a little bit of damage. They're kiting back. It's still going to be difficult for 100 Thieves Challengers to get in there unless they can get a pick on the beach. But he heals up so much from Breezy. Petrifying Gate only getting slow on a Kevy. They chase down. He's burning. The kill. And Unforgiven again. They cannot stop this man as he dives back in and immediately picks up a triple.
Unforgiven has taken over this game as 100 Thieves are looking to take this game from CLG. Two Barons be damned. Unforgiven's on the Zeri. He's an NA, and he's here to take names as a triple kill for him. And now a TP from 100 Thieves. They're the ones taking the structures.
They're the ones that will start cracking open the defenses of the base of CLG Challengers. Copy will respawn.
That's
will
it. That's
enough?
game.
I don't know if it's going to be enough to stop them.
Oh, it's enough, Bad Magical.
Copy, 1v5, bounced around Ace, like you said. This is game over. The first 100 Thieves Challengers clawing back a victory out of the jaws of defeat.
And we saw what happens. Again, guys, if you're playing against a Zeri comp, if you do not take her down within the first round of sums that you use, Zeri can take over the fight as Unforgiven. All mistakes that were made from CLG into him were not forgiven, as Unforgiven took those for himself, put up a massive game on this series. He was the big difference maker later, and that's 100 Thieves going up 1-0.
1-0, and what a way to start off our Valentine's Day weekend, right, Covey? With an absolute banger between two teams tied in the standings, but not anymore. 100 Thieves Challengers move one step above CLG Challengers. We're going to toss it to a break. When we come back, we'll bring back Sierra for a halftime show, so make sure you stay tuned.